The worst thing about virtual events like this one is that now I walk on stage to officiate an event and there is no clapping of hands. In fact, even worse, there's not a single person carrying a board saying, "Marry me, Rams, marry me." Damn, this COVID has taken the oxygen away from us MCs and facilitators and program directors, whatever you call us. The flip side though, is that now nobody judges me for my poor fashion or style or cheap fragrance. In fact, did you know that I'm not even wearing anything below this shirt? No, I am wearing stuff. Don't worry, I am. Good morning, one and all, and welcome to this webinar called Creating and Sustaining a Local Brand and the Need to Support Homegrown Businesses, hosted by Proudly South African. A very special welcome to everyone joining us on the Proudly South African social media platforms. Thank you for registering to be part of this webinar, and I know it's going to work for all of us. Let me say upfront, this is a digitally produced program. There will be glitches. It happens. Let's stay on the message, not only on the optics. Please bear with us when that happens. On behalf of Proudly SA, I welcome all of you, and I hope you will find the contributions very, very helpful and useful. I'm privileged and honored to be your host. My name is Mabote. This webinar comes at a time when South Africa's economy is virtually on its knees. Reports are that 3 million more jobs have been lost since the beginning of the first lockdown at the end of March this year. Let that sink in a bit. We are going to need many interventions to reverse this tide. And certainly, one of the weapons in the arsenal sustaining local brands and supporting homegrown businesses is exactly that. We have to support homegrown businesses. This is no longer a political statement. It is a human need, just like bread, roof, and security. When we buy local, it is no longer just a matter of pride, but a necessity. Now then, let's get this show on the road. A terrible thing happened 2 weeks ago in South Africa. A small football team from Pretoria won the domestic league title. And now the Proudly SA CEO, Eustace Mashimbi, is gone AWOL. He's apparently on some holiday to celebrate. I mean, can you believe it? Wow. But we are lucky in that replacing him to give us a warm welcome is the affable Janine van Straten, the Executive Strategy, Stakeholder Relations and Legal at Proudly SA. And very importantly, she does not support Mamelodi Sundowns. Janine, welcome on stage.
Hi, Rams. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for that wonderful welcome. Just check if everybody can see me. It's my first virtual event, so very, very, very proud to be a part of this of the function today. But how do you know which football team I support, Rams? That's very presumptuous of you.
You look too good to support Mamelodi Sundowns, but please continue.
No problem, Rams. Can you see my screen? I'm going to continue. I assume everybody can see my screen. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you all to the Proudly South African campaign. Our logo is on the left-hand side. I'm sure you're familiar with it. So I'm going to take you through our mandate. And we were really established way back in 2001 to address unemployment in the country. And our main aim is really to ensure that procurement takes place, a local procurement takes place in the public sector, the private sector, and then also to influence the everyday consumer to ensure that the product of choice is South African above imported goods. So we do a lot of consumer education in terms of asking consumers to go out in the stores, lift the product, flip it over, check where it's made, and to choose made in South Africa if they don't see our logo. And we were established by NEDLAC in 2001, and we've been going since then, and the brand has really gotten stronger, and we have an array of wonderful member companies. A lot of them are present on the call that we'll be presenting today. So it's such a wonderful, wonderful day for us to showcase some of our associations with our member companies. And then just to let you know, the buy local phenomenon does not only pertain only to South Africa. There are many in place. I have been told I haven't shared the screen, everybody, so profuse apologies. Great. There we go. There we go. Please be forgiving. Thank you so much. So the Buy Local campaign is not a phenomenon that's only that is only specific to parties or to South Africa. Rather, it's really one that has walked the test of time with many other countries. And some of the examples is Australian made, and then also America's got not only a Buy Local campaign but also legislation in place that encouraged gently nudges consumers as well as the private sector to buy local. Now, in the absence of that type of legislation here in the country, we have the Proudly South African Buy Local campaign, and I'll share some more stats with you here. So, unemployment, given we in the time of COVID-19, it's these unemployment figures, of course, will really increase as the stats are released. But just to give you a sense of what is working in the US prior to COVID, so the unemployment rate in May stood at 3.6%, and that's May last year, and it was unchanged from the previous month's 49-year low. And just to showcase the fact that there is legislation in place to encourage the private sector to buy local in the States, it just showcases the direct correlation between unemployment and people importing, if I can be as brave to say that. So the number of unemployment stood at 5.9 million, and that number, the employment number rose to 156.8 million. And that's on a population of 329 million. Compared with South Africa, for instance, I want to showcase here that the unemployment rate, which is the highest it's ever been, is 30.1%.
I suspect that we have Janine frozen there. Could be a connection problem. I did say these things are going to happen as we go forward. So I'm going to perhaps, you see now what happens. I now use two English words that mean the same thing. But perhaps what we should be looking at is see if our next speaker is available. Then we can move on to that. But before we do that, I think I must do the right thing. I'm going to give a few house rules in the meantime. Please, everybody, the panelists, keep your microphones mute during presentations, but please don't mute yourself if you are presenting. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that. We want to hear you. If you have to go to the loo, and that includes you from home watching us, please don't raise your hand, just go. Man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. We will have a question and answer session at the end of all presentations. So please hold your horses for now and note all your concerns. But lastly, to all the speakers, and I should have said this even for Janine, but you don't look the gift horse in the mouth. Please keep to your time that is allocated to you. Besides being host of this event, I'm also the Associate Technical Director of the webinar. So if you pass your time, we'll replace your face with that of Bart Simpson and then play Jerusalem a song, So we don't want to embarrass you that way. So you won't. Please don't defy. Don't you dare. So I'm hoping that we have Janine back. If she is not back, can I get an instruction that we can go to our first speaker, and maybe we can find a way that Janine concludes the presentation later. I'm waiting instructions, guys. Relax. Cool. I've been given the instruction to move to our next, I suppose the first speaker, because Janine was giving us the introduction and a little talk about what Proudly South African does. So our first speaker is Brent Johnson, Group Marketing Manager, South Africa for Defy Appliance. And Brent, the stage is yours, and I know that you won't freeze on us.
Thank you, Mr. Rams. I'll try my best not to. Let me share my screen. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. As I've been introduced, my name is Brent Johnson. I form part of the marketing team here at Defy Appliances South Africa. I'm delighted to be here today and look forward to engaging with you all. What I'll be taking you through today is a little bit about Defy, the positioning of the brand, some of the activities completed during COVID-19, and then lastly, some lessons for longevity in the marketplace. So if we look at a quick snapshot of Defy, we produce and sell over 2 million products annually across 3,000 outlets in South Africa. We have over 2,600 employees and 3 factories based in East London, Jacobs here in Durban, and Ladysmith. Our brand is available in 25 countries, and we have distribution centers in a variety of different geographical locations, as well as 7 authorized service centers with the ambition of opening another 10 throughout 2021, which I'll touch on a little later in my presentation. We opened our doors in 1905, and this year, 2020, marks the year of our 115-year anniversary of conducting business in South Africa. To summarize the journey, I thought it would be best suited to showcase this through a video for you. I'm hoping that the connectivity is strong enough to enable you to understand where we've come from and give you a good orientation about the brand.
More than a century, we have even families for millions of households, and this is how we did it. We spoke from the beginnings, like more money, as the whole box did it. We moved from the bricks to the box, and 1990 of 311 box people ahead, as we learned from weekly production to 250 to 1,000. As the saying goes, all progress leads to change, and so in 1920, the company's name changed to the Volkswagen Company. From 1933, not only did we create the first fully manufactured electric stove, we won awards for it at the Red Show 3 years in a row. From this up to now,
Brent, I'm going to interrupt you there. The video is buffering so badly. The sound is terrible. The pictures are good, but the sound is bad.
we had another change to Defy Corporation. Then in 2005, achieved its milestone.
Hello, Brent. Brent, can you hear me? Brent, please unmute yourself if you're now talking to us.
I'm now talking.
Good. Now we're listening to it. I need to tell you that the video was not good. The video was good, but the audio was bad, so we couldn't hear what the video was saying. But we saw the images. Now it's your time to give us your presentation. We can't do much about this the video for now.
No problem. Thanks, Mr. Rams. I'm hoping that the other videos, if you can let me know about the other videos that are up and coming as well, that would be greatly appreciated. So on to my next slide, and the positioning of the brand. You know, in 2014, we decided to change the slogan of our brand, as some of you may remember, as you can rely on Defy to simplify, to Defy Believe in Better. We felt, you know, We changed it at a time where we felt the nation needed some inspiration. And essentially what it stands for, amongst other things, is believing in a better life, believing in a better future, believing in better product offerings, innovations, and technologies. From a market positioning point of view, we are positioned as market leader in Africa. We are number 1 in 8 out of the 9 segments we compete in, servicing the needs of a diverse range of people, from the value end to the premium end. With that, we also rely on the consumers of South Africa to value our product innovations and contributions towards, spending times on things that matter most, while our appliances handle the rest. So for the last 7 years running, we have been privileged enough to win a number of Kazakhstan Icon Awards. What the Icon Awards basically is a survey completed across all demographics and ages, where 25,000 odd consumers are surveyed, representing an audience of approximately 27 million adult SA consumers, and their brands of choice across a number of different categories. Fortunately for us, our efforts have paid off, and we have been consistent. We have been seen in a consistency within the hearts of the consumers within South Africa, and have won awards in a number of different categories with which we compete in. And we're obviously most grateful for the achievements. Moving on to some activities during lockdown. This is around the ventilator project, and just to give you some understanding, Defy assembled a global team comprising of Danel in South Africa, ProDrive and Beko in the UK, Arçelik in Turkey, and jointly developed a high-performance affordable ventilator for manufacture in South Africa. This basically was one of the first intensive care quality ventilators to be manufactured in Africa. The initiative received an award given by the Royal Academy of Engineering, a leading authority in the UK. They seek to recognize and reward the best engineering talent whose achievements have been hugely impacted on society. The initiative brought together extensive research, design, manufacturing, and testing capabilities to mass produce the cost-effective ventilators named Impilo at the manufacturing facilities here in Jacobs, KwaZulu-Natal. The manufacturing of these ventilators in Defy facility also supported by 17 local suppliers, each of them bringing responsible for various different devices and components towards us. So it was a nice collaborative effort and a number of different suppliers coming together to help a common cause. I'm hoping this video plays, but this is a video on the ventilators, and Mr. Rams, you can let me know.
Same problem, Brent. The video does play, but the audio is bad. We can't hear a word. Brent, can you hear me? Brent, we can't hear the audio. We can see the video.
Okay, no problem. It was just music in the background, more for reading than anything else, so no voiceover in that one.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Now, I was saying that the video was giving us the same problem, but we saw the visuals.
That's no problem. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you clearly. Continue there.
Okay. So there was no voiceover in that video. It was just... okay, excellent. Okay, moving on to the next slide. To add to the perfect. To add to this, during the pandemic, Defy continued to support the efforts of the medical teams in the fight against the pandemic by donating Defy appliances to the value of 1.9 million rand to healthcare professionals and hospitals around South Africa. We regarded the services rendered by the healthcare professionals as invaluable in combating the epidemic and critical in present-day circumstances. So this was our way of making a societal impact within the homeland of South Africa. We also put a large emphasis on service over the period. Our technicians put put smiles on the faces of a little over 5,500 consumers by successfully completing repairs on appliances. And I guess as we praised R&D engineers for the ventilators and hospital staff, we felt it was only fitting to do the same for our heroes servicing, in the fields. So I'm going to play this video. I hope this one works. But again, if you can't hear the voiceover, just watch the video. That was my last video, by the way. Lastly, during the pandemic, we also went on to open a WhatsApp line for consumers so that they can get in touch with us directly and book a service call or order spare parts or find out more about products or brand campaigns for that instance, whilst creating this. Can you hear me?
We can hear you very well, Brent.
I'm going to continue. With the implementation of with the implementation of the WhatsApp for business, it was in response to the trend that we're seeing, consumers increasingly wanting to interact with businesses like they do with, for say, family and friends. So the WhatsApp business line is currently championed by 7 days a week with experienced service advisors, and are easily contactable with, the number as seen below, the 086 number. 4 lessons in longevity in the marketplace. Some of the successes for us, we feel, is the continuous investment in product development and innovation. Since 2012, we've invested approximately 1.4 billion rand back into our factories, upgrading all 3 of them. With product design, innovations, and we feel this is a key part of our success as we strive to stay on the forefront of design and technology. Investment in our business operations, whether it be supply chain, marketing, distribution, sales, training and development, and our people in general. We've made sure that we're equipped with enough resources to support the overall business objectives. We've also gone on to maintain, strong partnerships with, our government bodies, local trade, local suppliers, as well as our customers, which has been very key in the success. Our expansion into Africa through various different agents and distributor partners has played a major role as well in the success. And we manage this all from our local office here in Durban, South Africa. And then lastly, to invest in marketing and the building of our brand. Your brand is the soul and heart of the products and services that you offer. We strive to make sure that we have a strong brand communication strategy that connects with our target audience and is really in line with our business objectives and focus areas. So thank you. That was my last slide, short and sweet. Sorry about the videos. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. You know, it's now more than ever that we need to pull together as a nation and support local business as we strive to rebuild our economy. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for the remainder of 2020 and beyond.
Thank you very much, Brent. I hope I'm coming back onto your screen before I fire somebody. I need to be the one guy who's constantly on the screen. You know that there's a bit of ego there on my part, but you know, just allow me to shine a bit. Guys, am I on the screen? Okay, there I'm back now. I can see myself. It feels so good. So, Brent, thank you very much for that presentation. Great insights, I must say. But you know what, Brent, I suggest, I think that you may have changed the slogan too soon. Rely on DeFi to simplify. Maybe the presentations would have gone well with that slogan. What do you think? But anyway, it was a great presentation, and I hope you will share those slides with us so that we share with everybody else who's joining us. I think there were amazing nuggets that we would have missed in those presentations. Please do share later as links, I suppose, and then we can all in our own time go through it. So Janine is back. Janine van Straten is back to complete her presentation. I'm not going to reintroduce you, Janine. I'm just going to say, please come back and do your thing.
Thank you very much, Rams. Brilliant, I'm back. It's good to be back. Thanks for everybody's patience. So as I had mentioned, that the Buy Local campaign is not only a campaign that is a phenomenon of South Africa's, it is actually an international tried and tested method to encourage and lobby not only the private sector, but consumers also to support local. And I'd like to take you through just the unemployment figures very quickly. I want to just share with you in terms of, let me update my screen. Brilliant. I'm telling my, yes, I'm sure I've shared. Let me just double check. Yes.
We can see you.
You can see, fantastic. Thanks for that confirmation. Just looking, so the US has legislation in place to promote local. And as we can see with the unemployment figures in the US, it's standing at 5.9 million of a total population of 329 million. Compared with South Africa, we a population of only 59 million people, and our official unemployment figure is 7.1 million. And in addition to that, we've got 2.9 million people who have stopped looking for jobs. So it's really dire in our country compared with the first world countries such as the States, who has the legislation in place. And then also looking at the clothing, this is the furniture sector. So looking at the number of plants we had, and I just want to showcase the decline in manufacturing. In 2018, we had 2,200 plants. 2019, we're sitting with 3,500. And because of that, the unemployment figure has risen, especially within this sector, the furniture industry. In 2018, 26,000 people are employed in comparison with 1990, 50,000. So that industry has really halved. And we all know why that is. It's because of imports. And we all know also in terms of the clothing, textile, footwear, and leather industry. Now, this is a wonderful slide. It crosses borders over not just the furniture sector, but also clothing, textile, footwear, and leather. And as you will see, it's such a wide array of, it's such a wide value chain. So that if there is one element of this affected in terms of whether we manufacture it here or not, it really it affects the whole value chain, not only in what we supply in terms of local manufacturing inside the country, but also the jobs that are created and all the elements that we'll have to bring in from abroad. So the value chain is quite diverse and important. So we look at, as Proudly South African, we really lobby that everything when we look at clothing, textile, footwear, and leather, that we look at fibers being made here, textiles being made here, as well as the CMT. And the same story as with furniture, we're sitting in the same boat, looking at clothing, textile, footwear, and leather. In 1996, we had 1,600 plants compared with 2016, 900 plants. And we all know, because of predominantly in the late 90s, the trend was to import finished product from abroad. And unfortunately, China was the main culprit in terms of where our local our companies decided to purchase product from. Employees in the sector, I have mentioned, the decline is quite phenomenal. Proudly South African's focus areas is really to try to do our best to try and involve all stakeholders in the value chain, which we are getting right. So it's been a focus area now of ours for about 4 years. We call sector-specific forums where we have all the parties in the room, and we're quite pleased with the DTIC's master plan, so furniture, clothing, textile, footwear, and leather, which we play a very, very important role. And what we pride ourselves in is we're championing access to markets for our member companies. So we're looking at preferential procurement. We're doing education in the public sector. We're also looking at consumers, the private sector. That's the consumer education I mentioned earlier, asking the consumers to, when they go to the shops, to lift the product, look for the Made in SA label of origin if they don't see the Proudly SA product, and choose that good. And then also we do general education in terms of for the general consumer. We've got a general public education, but we also influence and lobby the private sector to buy local. And our very big focus is where we're assisting consumers, the private sector, to find and to access locally made products. And that's, for us, has been the most important task this last year. So Proudly SA membership, what does this entail? So it all started with the flag. So look at our beautiful logo on the left. You'll see the colors of the flag. And that represents for us local content, as well as the big green tick in the middle. That is representative of the mark of quality. So it all started with the logo, and we are asking consumers to look out for the logo, Proudly South African logo. And we are also putting various campaigns in place to educate everybody what the logo means. And we are saying, if you can't find the logo, look for the Made in SA label of origin. A membership to the campaign. So many of our stakeholders are on the line. They've all gone through this vetting process. So who can become a member of Proudly South African? So absolutely any organization, whether you have a sports team, as Rams mentioned earlier, or whether you have a commercial entity in place. Every organization can become a member of ours, provided we vet companies according to 4 criteria. So we look at local content, which is representative of the colors of the flag, and we ask services businesses, for instance, where's their value chain? Do they support other local companies? Do they have their employment, is it predominantly in the country versus outside? But if you're manufacturing, we want to know where your raw material comes from. And very importantly, where is the conversion of that raw material taking place? So for us, that's very important, because we have the likes of certain OEMs that are member companies of ours, and we know components are not yet widely made in the country, which is something that we're working on with relevant stakeholders. But the assembly takes place within the borders, and we know that a lot of jobs are being created, as well as a lot of communities are being uplifted because of factories being established. So we look at the whole value chain, and we lobby with our members to buy as much local. I know some members of ours are on this call, and they pride themselves in buying their raw material locally, and I'm so thrilled to have them on the line, and I'll leave that for them to explain a little bit later. I'm talking intent about Lasher Tools, which is very exciting. But then we also look at quality. So that big green tick, it's not a willy-nilly logo that you can download and utilize on your product. You have to be vetted with us. It's important that our member companies' products have been tested and are safe for human consumption, because it must adhere to an industry standard. Looking at PPEs, if you have ineffective FFP2 masks in the hospitals, they are really going to make people sick. So it's very important that that mark of quality stands for something. So we work with SANUS accredited laboratories. We look at ISO certification. We work with SABS and a number of key stakeholders who do verification and accreditation. And then we also look at environmental standards. Are you a responsible corporate citizen? Does your company adhere to fair labor practices? It's very important, and we consider either your HR policy, your template of a contract of employment to make sure that you have you adhere to the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, or we request your bargaining council certificate of compliance. So once you are vetted according to all 4 criteria, you're then eligible to become a member of Proudly South African, and there will be a membership fee that you'll be asked to pay, and it's really it's quite small in comparison with previous years. Looking at a company's turning over 5 million rand or less, your membership fee will be 500 rand per annum excluding VAT, and then a company turning over as much as 100 million rand or more will pay a membership fee of 100,000 rand excluding VAT. So in the past, that 100,000 was actually 500,000 rand. So it has been reduced significantly since April 2017, and we have a lot of companies who've really appreciated this, and big corporates have come on board, and we've had also a number of corporates who have enterprise and supply development programs pay for those companies also to become members of Proudly South African, and there are applicable discounts in place for the companies paying a larger membership fee who may be coming on board for 2 or 3 year period. Then the membership benefits. So our value proposition over the years has increased significantly. In the past, we have to admit, it was only the use of the logo. But since then, we've heard the pleas of our members, and we really champion access to market platforms. So in addition to the logo, which can be used on locally made product, as well as your marketing and corporate collateral, so that's your ads that you put out on TV or in newspapers, or your business card or your website. We encourage our members to use it as widely as possible. But we also have an online store, which we're very proud of. It's called RSA Made. It's a platform only for member companies. So non-member companies are not eligible to enlist on RSA Made. Initially, we had hoped that consumers would buy from it, which we did very successfully the first 2 years. And since then, we have now opened up a B2B platform. So we have, just to let the cat out of the bag, Kimberly-Clark makes a beautiful product here in the country. They saw the value in RSA Made and came on board as a member. To also convey the messaging of localization and to subscribe to the ethos of Proudly South African, but also to make use of RSA Made because they foresee the benefit of selling to international companies. So product will be going across borders, across the ocean through RSA Made. So it really is a worthwhile platform for our member companies, and it's free to list, unlike other competitors found in the country. Then we also monitor tenders that government puts out but specifically looking at the designated products. So there are certain products government has to buy from local manufacturers, and there's a percentage coupled with that. So we have an algorithm, so a fancy internet system. We troll over 800 websites. We extract those tenders pertaining to designated items. We send that onto the DTIC to monitor and to police to take the conversation forward. But what we also do is we forward these tenders to our member companies operating in that particular space. So it's first-hand access to tender opportunities. We also have a database of local products and services, so that's very important. So we ask member companies coming on board to give us their full array of product that they make in the country. The reason being, the private sector comes knocking, a member company of ours, a hotel group or an airline, for instance, will say, do you have a member making this particular product? So we consult that database, and we do introductions for member companies on that basis. So it's really a very valuable tool for us to utilize, and you can also have a taste of that on our website. We also embark on fantastic procurement networking opportunities for our members. Some of our members have had an opportunity to do a Dragon's Den or similar pitch to an association body, the Franchise Association, and all of their members. And we are very proud to say that Makabisa's product is an OBC, a retailer. So that is a fantastic win in terms of the the lobbying and the introductions that we've done, utilizing the FASA procurement platform, and there will be a number of these continuing into the future, which is wonderful. We also encourage members to do inter-member trading. We were lucky enough to introduce Nissan, who is an OEM that assembles locally, and they were introduced to NESE South Africa, and there was a contract of 75 NP200 vehicles coming from that interaction. So we are really proud ourselves in knowing that we have access to many large corporates who really live and breathe the ethos of localization and who are changing their procurement habits, and we're at the forefront of that. And then we have an array of wonderful marketing platforms, and this is where the campaign has always been strong in since inception, and this work continues virtually with all of its woes and hassles. So thank you all for your patience. Our Buy Local annual summit and expo is a favorite. I mean, it's a favorite amongst our president. He was going to open for us in March, just before lockdown. We had to unfortunately postpone, so we look forward to his participation next year. But it's really a wonderful platform for members to exhibit their goods, to be a part of a summit experience whereby we look at capacitating small business, and we have an array of government departments, entities, all who can capacitate small business on day one. Day two then looks at the broader economy, whereby we look at where the South African economy stands, and looking at other countries and where we can localize more, looking at import replacement, etc. We also, I mentioned, have supply chain workshops. We do business and sector specific forums, which I've mentioned. So our business forums are taking the virtual replacement, which is one such as the one we're in today. We also do joint promotions with our member companies, where we have consumer target campaigns. We buy space for members to come and exhibit their goods at the major expos, and this is free of charge to our member companies. We also have an illustrious marketing strategy and wonderful activities we present, such as the one that we are part of today, and more information can be shared with you. Our PR and communications arm of the business is also very, very strong. We've got a weekly column in the business report. We are good footing with media, and we really assist with all of our stakeholders to drive the localization message. And the benefits continue as we go on. In terms of the public sector, we're doing an integration with the CSD, which is very, very exciting. So all of our members will be able then to enlist on the CSD, provided they adhere to the CSD's rules and regulations. So that is something that we ask our members to look out for. I've mentioned we monitor designated items. There are lots of procurement opportunities advertised for our members. And I'm going to go over this slide quite quickly. But we are also assisting where companies are not or entities are not compliant of putting the correct percentage out. So we're assisting the public sector to get that right. And we are looking at hosting a webinar championed by our ministers. So we're looking at the DTIC minister. We're asking him for his assistance to remind the public sector what the rules are, because it is legislated that they buy local for certain products. We're standing on 29 currently. So we're doing quite a lot of work in this space. In terms of the private sector, I have mentioned how we vet member companies. We're also obtaining localization commitments. Our target is 500 large corporates, which we really think, as you know, Apple owns the world if you look at the States. So from our perspective, there's a lot of corporates with a lot of buying power. And government is playing its part in terms of designation, and we want corporates to do the same. So we're doing quite a bit of work there. We're also embarking on an import replacement drive, and we're working with the likes of the manufacturing circle as well as NetLAC to get, we've looked at 100 items. That's now been, we're looking at 16, which we think we can achieve success relatively fast. So it stems from poultry, import replacement of poultry, maybe even looking at plastic soles of shoes. It's something that might seem small and frivolous, but could really impact in terms of changing lives in the country. And then also engaging other stakeholders in terms of, really identifying where they can procure from, in terms of other member companies. So we're doing a lot of work in that regard. I've mentioned some of these initiatives. So we lobby for market access for SMMEs. We're also talking to the retailers to make sure that they award more space to member companies, and we have quite exciting announcements coming in the next coming weeks, whereby shelf space will be awarded to more and more local manufacturers. Commitments I've mentioned, and then also to increase local content. So I've mentioned the raw materials as well as components where we are looking to drive change. This is just a bird's eye view of some of the marketing drives that we're embarking on in terms of getting consumers on board. We are mobilizing labor, embarking on sports events, etc. And if I may, if you could indulge me, I'd like to play for you the latest offering we have in terms of an ad championed by Dr. Carney, Dr. John Carney. We're very, very proud of it. I'm sure you've seen it on television, but I'm going to play it. It really talks to a lot of what I've said.
The second half is about to begin. We need to change the scoreboard. It's time for all of us to pause and rethink the game plan in order to save the future. I call on all of us to be game changers, because greatness isn't reserved only for some people. By buying local, we're choosing to create jobs and sustain the ones we have. Time and time again, South Africans have taken destiny into their own hands, creating products that the rest of the world wanted to buy. See, the world remembers about us, what we sometimes forget. But it's time for change. Let's all buy local. It's game time. Zanzi.
Local is lekker.
Your everyday decisions shape our future.
This is really a...
The second half is about to...
That really is just a snapshot of really what we stand for. And it's been so well received, that ad. And it says your everyday procurement decisions shape our future, which is a message that we are sounding out loudly and clearly to everybody. And it really does reach the heartstrings, and that's very, very much true. I have spoken about RSA Made. I know I'm running horribly over time. So if you don't mind, I'm going to skip over to our slides. A very wonderful announcement. We've got COVID-19 portals, which are acting as a marketplace of locally made PPE. And we are asking South Africans whether you're buying a locally made face mask or face shield, as well as sanitizers, detergents, and disinfectants, to visit our website, get in touch with local manufacturers via our website, and then buy from them. We don't want imported goods, PPE. There's no reason why we should be importing these goods. And just to let you know, the face shields are coming locally made, high quality face shields are coming in cheaper than what you can bring in from abroad. Just to let you know, so the fallacy that locally made goods are expensive is really, really not true. So please do visit our COVID-19 portals. We'll be expanding that now also to include furniture and various other products. This is really an exciting time to be a part of the campaign. Rams, thank you so much for this opportunity. Rams, you're on mute.
Well, Janine, thank you so much. I'm glad you judged yourself offside before I could. And you must thank your lucky gods that I'm far away from you. But thank you. You know, as a small business owner, I cannot tell you how hard it is to market my business and open doors. So you have to then agree with me that the membership fee to pay for Proudly South African is exactly a giveaway. It is a complete giveaway to open doors for you. I cannot overemphasize that. I must also tell you, I'm glad that, Janine, you have dealt with your stage fright. You see, yesterday, guys, in preparation for today, Janine did not switch on her screen, and she was telling us stuff about her Wi-Fi connection was weak and stuff like that. You know, me, I'm bad like that. I'm like the EFF of MCs. I don't keep secrets. So today she dealt with her stage fright, and she gave us a great presentation. Thank you, Janine. Truly appreciate it.
Thanks,
now, earlier when I was introducing Brent, did you hear me mispronounce the word Defy? And then you know, he came in smoothly, Brent, and he pronounced it Defy. I said Defy. Well, what can I say? You cannot take a boy from Makhorani primary school anyway. You know, that's Makhorani for you. We call it Defy, and it's actually Defy. Now I got it, friend. I got it. Never will mispronounce it again. Next, to give us a presentation is Ian Kendall, Managing Director of Lasher Tools. Please welcome Ian.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. Janine must just unshare. Janine, you still shared?
Am I still sharing? Okay.
Just need Janine to unshare your presentation.
Now we know who's boss, Ian.
Done. Apology. Done.
Absolutely. Well, good day, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to try not to incur Mr. Ram's wrath, so keep it short, sweet, and to the point. We are, unfortunately, one of the only local manufacturers left when it comes to base non-mechanical tools like shovels and spades and wheelbarrows. And we've got quite a long-standing, steeped history. So I thought just to cover it quickly, I would start with our history and then get to the topic at hand.
It took 1 million shovels to build the Ponte and Hillbrow towers. We call that commitment. It took 10,000 wheelbarrows to rebuild Mozambique. We call that belief. It took over 27,000 hammers and hand saws to erect more voting stations across South Africa. We call that accountability. More than 250,000 iron tools to help build 5 soccer stadiums. It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala! That is trust. Each year, more than 30,000 folks will work 3.1 million hectares of farmland. That's reliability. Today, it took one spade and one man to plant his best lemon tree in his best home. We call that leaving a legacy.
So, just to have a quick recap on our history. Back in 1929, gold was discovered on the Highveld, and therefore there was a need for shovels and spades and picks to get the gold out the ground. And we went ahead and developed our first factory. By 1930, we had a total of 66 people on our payroll, and it stayed pretty much like that as the focus was very much on the mining industry. By 1942, we had a serious problem with raw material, simply because of the World War, and raw material like steel was in high demand for other purposes. And around this time, Mittel, or ISCO as it was known at the time, started and developed steel manufacturing within South Africa. And at that point, we switched all of our applications to sourcing local raw materials. In 1950, Mittel again started expanding their steel production, and in turn, the demand for product increased and the gold rush really started gathering momentum. And we therefore built our second factory. And in 1973, Mittel went and opened up the Newcastle plant, and due to the location to Newcastle, we opened another factory in Ladysmith. So at this point in time, we had 3 factories manufacturing quite extensive range of products that catered for all sectors of the marketplace, from mining, agriculture, construction, and forestry, all the way through to the nice-to-haves in the gardening and DIY in the latter years. In 2019, we celebrated our 90 years of existence here in South Africa. And then also in 2019, a very proud moment for us, another 2 long-standing quality-driven brands, which tied into our portfolio. As the cornerstone of Lasher is built on quality tools, we acquired both the Okapi and the Vickers brand. The Okapi and Vickers brand, what normally happens in today's times is the brands are purchased and then the product manufacturing is taken offshore. We acquired it because we believe in our proudly South African roots and we wanted to keep it local. So we now have those two brands that complement our range. 2020, we employ over 600 people. And I think the important thing is, especially off the back of COVID, when we talk about the economic effect of creating jobs within South Africa, just looking at this slide, you will see the knock-on effect of having those 600 people employed. It's not just 600 people. It expands to the people that we get our raw material from, safety equipment, labels, logistics. So the 600, if you want to look at a pyramid effect, can turn to 6,000, can turn to 60,000 people. End up being very, very reliant on those 600 people having jobs. And that's why we have always been very true to our proudly South African roots, the importance of it for the economy going forward. So to the point at hand, creating a brand. And without a doubt, creating a brand is the easy part. Back in the day, we had the two cornerstones in our starting period, which was simply quality and service. Since then, we have obviously, in order to get the brand created, no problem, we stuck to those two basic principles, which has served us exceptionally well. But then when it comes to sustaining a brand, here is where you have a requirement of continuous work. I think all too often big brands are built up and then there's a habit of relying on that brand to carry you through the process. And that is not the answer to the equation. So when it comes to sustaining a brand, consistency is key. And we basically use the cornerstones of what we refer to as the word passion. And if you take each one of the first letters of the word passion, these are the pillars that built our business and, more importantly, sustained our business. The P in passion for being proactive, assertive, and that's very important. There's nothing wrong with being strong in your industry, but it's a very fine line between assertive and arrogance, and you never want to stray across that line. Support, service, initiative, opportunity, and most importantly, the emphasis is on never surrender, never relax, never get complacent. So if I have a look and take that down to 4 basic issues, product availability is incredibly important. So we boast a 98% first-time supply rate across 1,200 SKUs or products. Accessibility to that product is incredibly important. Product quality, as I say, is a cornerstone that has been with us right from the beginning. And a point that is everybody tends to not want to talk about the elephant in the room, but brand message is absolutely vital. In these trying times like we're having now off the back of COVID, times are tough, people are looking to cut expenses, and I implore you, as hard as it is, everybody always goes to the marketing budget and says, well, there's an easy place to cut. It is the worst thing you can do. Brand message is absolutely imperative. People are not going to buy your product if they don't know about it. There's the old saying of, you know, without marketing, it's like sitting in a dark room and winking. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. So seriously, whatever you do going forward, make sure that you have enough in your coffers to get that brand message out there. All of these things culminate in one thing, and that's very simply reputation. You either have a good one or you have a bad one. And while you're focusing on servicing your customer and getting everything done and you give it 100%, unfortunately, things do go wrong. And when they go wrong, that's when you got to up your game and give it 150%. Some of our biggest customers today are customers that we have onboarded out of a poor service or a poor quality issue. So you're never going to get quality right 100%. You can get poor raw material, which happens every now and again. We're experiencing it now in South Africa. The timber industry is not great, and the quality of timber is not great. But when you have that failure, make sure you address the issue with that customer very, very swiftly and succinctly and fix the problem. Because at the end of the day, that's all the customer wants. So simply put, keep the promises you make to your customers. Right, if we have a look at this, the proudly South African logo. It's simply not enough to just be considered a badge. The proudly South African logo is not a badge to be worn, but it is rather a statement to be lived. You have to believe in your core principles. If you don't, you've got nothing to build on. So that belief in taking control of your destiny, the belief in, like we have done, keeping everything in-house as much as possible so that you can control the quality of your product, plus all the other things I've mentioned, give you that 90 years durability. So simply put, proudly South African plus the durability has been our winning formula, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And like I said, one issue that is very difficult to maintain, especially in a business as you grow it, is the need to be humble. If I go back to the Coca-Cola wars between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola thought that they had it all sorted and they didn't need to spend money on marketing because they had such a strong brand. And what they saved in marketing expenses in 1 year took them over 10 years to get back to that same point, to get their sales back to that same point. So simply put, have the humility, never stop selling. That's the key. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate the time. Mr. Rams, you're muted.
Somebody is trying to take my money from me. Why do you mute me? Okay, I'm back.
I didn't want to hear you call me Bart Simpson.
Ian, that was a great presentation. And I must firstly comfort you that Bart Simpson had danced all the way during Janine's presentation. So by the time you came in, he was tired. But you did well. You're within your time and you have nothing to worry about. Thank you so much for your presentation. And what a beautiful, proudly South African story to tell. I'm not the first person to say that. On Facebook, Lesego Tolo says, I like this point made on Lasher presentation. Consistency is key. So people love your story. Ian, well done. I love the South African side of the story, especially the Okapi one. You see, if you are my age and was raised in the townships, you'll know the legend of the Okapi. I'm not going to repeat it here, lest I get arrested for crimes I committed 40 years ago. As a matter of interest, Ian, is Lasher by any chance looking at creating a tool that could keep Bafana Bafana at the top? You don't have to answer that one. Let's move on. Let's move on. Nobody will ever get that tool going. So, who said South Africa has not transformed? I mean, who would have thought that two white men so far would abide so easily to the rules set by a black man? These guys are going to survive this Africa. Trust you guys, you've done very well. Now here comes a trick. The next speaker is not only a woman, but she's a black woman. The last thing I want to be accused of is toxic masculinity and gender-based violence. So, Os Omatema, founding director Plus-Fab, Please take all the time you want as long as you keep it brief. Welcome on stage.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys see me?
We can see you very well.
Okay, cool. At the dry run, they said I must open my slideshow so that there's no problem. So good. It's what now? Afternoon, everybody. My name is Oma. I really am a fashion designer by default, right? Because I didn't. What is this? I didn't think I'll be a designer. I really was a designer because I was struggling to get clothes that spoke to me. So I always say, we sell you the fabulosity, the flair, the amazingness. We don't give you the right size. And that's what we are all about, right? We, Rems, I'm seeing your face doing something.
I am not, okay? We are not seeing your screen. You haven't shared your screen with us. Don't worry about seeing my face. The whole country is looking at my face. At the moment, we want you to...
The whole country is not recognizing me.
We want to, they can see you too, but we want to see your presentation more important.
Okay. Okay,
we want to buy South African.
Very important.
We got it now. We got it now. We can see it.
Okay, cool. And then I can... Okay, so that's pretty much what we do. We are a proudly South African member, right? We don't just say it, we are in their books, in proudly South African books, because we believe in the work that they do. So Plus-Fab, really, it's about, making sure that we really produce. No, as a Black woman, sometimes your waist is so cinched and your curves and your behind, God has given you in plenty. So most of the time, if something is made very far, those kind of people don't know us. They've never seen us before. So they don't understand when it doesn't fit and they don't understand the size proportion. So we are really about just making sure that we produce our clothes, we do our sizing, in-house to make sure that it fits proudly South African bodies and, and African bodies as a whole. We really, what really propelled Plus-Fab to be where it is now is that I was struggling to get clothes that spoke to me. More importantly, when I opened a magazine, when I opened television, there was nobody that looked like me. There was no sense of representation of somebody that looks like me. We know we are still battling with the shock of what happened with our hair, and that you always would have to, blame it on representation. If they know people like us are there and they respect, then, it will be better for that representation to happen. And because we live in a social media world, and it was it presented us with an opportunity to now tell our story, to tell our truth, to celebrate ourselves. We realize that we can be the change that we want to see, and we can also just have an audience that then, consume our truth. So we really believe in our story. We really believe in the fact that we need to be the change that we wanted to see. There was never a picture that says a plus-size woman is beautiful, a plus-size woman is sexy, and today we can be able to give you a proof of that picture because we believe we want to be the change that we wanted to see. I started doing my clothes 9 years ago, and people started just asking me before 9 years, before I started my business. My business is 9 years old, and people started asking me on social media, where do you get your clothes? And sometimes I'll buy whatever clothes there is, and I will, change it out and make it nice and fun. And people were willing to just buy the stuff from me, And what happened is then I saw really a gap in the market. Really, I always say I was not inspired to do this. I was propelled. Life gave me lemons and I kind of made lemonade. And I think it tastes really good because this is something that I really, really love doing. I genuinely love waking up in the morning and doing this every day. We sell mainly in how many provinces? 3 provinces. So we are predominantly in Gauteng, Western Cape, and KZN. In Gauteng, we are in Brooklyn Mall, in Mall of Africa, in Cresta Mall, in what is this other mall? In Main Lane Mall. So we are in four malls, and in Western Cape we're in Cornwall Walk Mall and also in Cavendish Mall. And in KZN we're at Gateway and Pavilion Mall. We also sell, through online platforms, which is on our website, www.plus-fab.com. I might just want to trick in there so that people can buy whilst I'm doing this. So yeah, we are there as well. We sell online, and we sell throughout the country. We also just finalizing our page on Takealot. We also sell through Zandu and Superbalist. So we are pretty much getting into the online space really thick and fast and furious, because with the world going digital, with us doing this webinar right now like this, people are always going to be online, and we have to find them where they are. I always say, know your client very well so that you know what they have for breakfast, what they have for lunch, and what they have for dinner, and what apps do they go to, so that you can be able to find them and be able to sell what you sell to them. With regards to sustaining our business, South Africa was, and the world was hit by COVID-19, and oh boy, we were never ready. People were buying our clothes, were no longer having places to go to. They were no longer events to go to. It was really like a mess. We did not know what will happen next. And it's amazing how I actually thought about it, and I was like, actually, your business is now, you really realize that my business is actually a feel-good business. So I needed to actually think about what happens when people don't feel good. Do I trade or not? And it's a conversation that 2020 and the COVID-19 has really opened me up to. And this is a conversation that I'm having in my business moving forward, so that I try and make sure that I introduce parts of my business. I introduce, a little department that would actually help to sustain the business, And you see, one of the things that I've always learned is that challenges in life, in business, and in everything present an opportunity for you to actually reevaluate if you're in the right track, but also reevaluate. It's a moment of reevaluating, redesigning, rethinking, and re. So I am, looking at this pandemic, at this problem, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to reevaluate what my business is about. I never thought I will have to design masks, and masks are a way of life. One of the things that really helped me was that when I started my business, I knew that I wanted to own some of the value chain, especially that I can afford. So we produce our clothes in-house. We've got our factory. So what we needed to do was that we say, with all that we have, let's be the ones now that produces the mask, the surgical gowns, the what. So we are now, looking at our business and, looking at those opportunities of saying, how do we make sure that beyond the fashion, we can also produce stuff that are required, stuff that are required in medical, PPE, whatever, because we've got the machine, we've got the equipment and the people to do that kind of work. It's an opportunity that we are looking at. So we have been doing masks, and we've been doing very well. Shout out to Proudly South African. They also they gave us orders, and they really supported our work. And I must tell you, the portal really made us really famous, because a lot of people were like, if Proudly South African says you guys do masks, then we might as well just buy masks from you. And it just showed how people really even trust the work that Proudly South African do. And so because of our production capacity, which I'm very proud of, we were able to switch quickly and do what is required at that time. But we really love our business. We genuinely believe that being patriotic and buying local, buying South Africa, because you then effectively save jobs. you alleviate poverty, and that you do it effectively when you buy that proudly South African product. It is very interesting. My mom loves Defy, and I know in my house there is wheelbarrow of Lasher. So I need to now start thinking, oh, I need to just get myself Olympic paints now. It was so amazing. And there's a part that my mom is looking for from Defy. So when we're done here, I'm gonna call and say, please help my mom, because we've been trying to get hold of it. But you know, where we are right now in our business is that we still have distribution challenges in South Africa. South African products are amazing. South African products are amazing. Products in South Africa can automatically, you know, compete in the world. But the biggest problem that I think we have right now, the biggest challenge I think I have, is just getting our clothes out there, and getting our clothes outside of the country so that people can see us and they can realize that we are the best in the game. We are the best in the game in whatever that we do. We just need to make sure that we keep pushing. We keep collaborating with other African countries as rich as ours. We need to always, you know, try and make sure that as the continent, we do well. We really love what we do. We believe that our need for freedom is too great and our thirst for expression is unquenchable. We are proudly South African, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, for giving me an audience. And yeah, Rams, over to you.
Thank you so much, Oma. Thank you so much. You know, as they say, find a problem, solve it, and you will never be poor again. I tell you,
Yes.
it's gonna do
Yes,
well.
so entrepreneurs solve problems, they just make you pay for it.
Yeah. But now tell me, Oma, are you by any chance looking at designing for plus-sized men? You don't know what COVID has done to most of us. You know, we've gone from minor size to plus size.
No, I don't. I'm a very decisive, clear person. My business is about females. If they have gained weight, they must deal with that problem and figure it out.
Okay. Well, look, I may have then to discuss a franchise with you, because I also think there is an uncaptured market you could reach. It's called the South African politician. But don't respond again. Leave it to, it's okay. Don't even say anything to what I just said. By the way, folks, we're getting some of your questions and we're going to read out some of them. But do me a favor when you send a question. Tell us who you want us to answer that question. This is virtual, so I don't see that we're not in a room with the speakers. I don't know who you're asking the question to, but also try to make your question as clear as possible. If it's too generic, I don't know what it means, but I also don't know who to ask the question to. Keep them brief, no manga business, we're gonna get there. Now, let's welcome our last speaker of the day, Sejal Parbu, Director of Olympic Paints. Mate, it's your turn to leave a permanent mark on the wall, and no pun is intended there, Sejal.
Thank you, Rams. Thanks for the lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks for having us. Thanks for being part of this webinar. Yes, today I represent Olympic Paints. So let's get into the presentation. So a quick brief introduction to Olympic Paints. We are a paint manufacturing business that was established in 1981, 39 years ago. So yeah, we are a paint manufacturer. We specialize in these products, PVA and enamel paints, roof coatings to paint your roof, specialized paints. So what is specialized paints? Wood varnishes, paint for your school board, road marking paints, undercoats, anti-rust paints. So we don't just do the paint your house and you're done, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it to paint your house. Waterproofing. The rains have just come yesterday, and so people probably are seeing leaking roofs that they should have fixed during the lockdown. Well, now's your chance. Do some waterproofing that we also manufacture. And then when you paint your house, there's a lot of preparation and cleaning material required. If your windows are broken, we manufacture window putty, crack fillers, surface cleaners. And then once your job's done, then you need some thinners and turpentine to clean what mess you've made. So we also specialize in that. So a bit about us and how we operate. We are operating from a manufacturing facility based in the south of Johannesburg in an area called Loli. We operate on a 3-hectare land, and currently we are using 25% of that land. So there's a lot of scope for growth. Proudly South African, shout out to you to get us to 3 hectares, 100% consumption. Yeah, we are specialized in manufacturing of paint, but we also do our own warehousing and logistics. So the paint goes from our factory straight to the shop floor via our warehousing and logistics. And we specialize in what we call just-in-time production and delivery. So we are able to, from order to manufacturing to supply and delivery in 2 days. So we are able to do that. Okay. So what is our success factors? I've been a business running for 39 years, family-owned business. Something was probably done right to be this successful for this long. And it's all about relations. Customer relationships is key. We have some customers that are with us for 39 years. From day one that we have started our operations until today. So customer relations and loyalty is something that is what makes us successful. But it's no good having good customer relations and bad quality. So we also pride ourselves on quality and consistency. When I say quality, when you paint your house, you want to see that paint remain there for at least a couple of years. So we pride ourselves on good quality and also consistency. If you paint red, every time you repaint red, it must be red. So that is quite challenging to achieve color consistency, but we are able to successfully achieve that. One thing that makes us very successful is associations, and the Proudly South African Association is something that has brought us great success. We also part of other associations like the Master Builders Association as we part of the construction industry. But I'd like to say that after joining Proudly South African, which was around 4 years ago, I believe, we've seen good success. You know, we are proud to put this sticker on the front of our buckets. It makes the product look good, and people then now have a better belief in our product, because that tick, like Janine said earlier, is a mark of quality. And so having that tick on our product then shows consumers that no, this is just not something ordinary, this is good quality. And something that has brought good success recently is some innovations that we've introduced into the market. Now, when you think of paint, I mean, what kind of innovation can there be in paint? There was once an ad, Rams, it's not inside, it's on top. We are saying it's not inside, it's on the outside. So let me introduce you to an interesting innovation that we've brought into the market. We call it Olympic Paint's Flip and Roll, dual purpose built-in tray. So what is this all about? Instead of me telling you about it, let's watch this next video that gives us an introduction to what this innovation is all about.
It's the all-new Olympic Paint's Flip and Roll. Absolutely unique because of the dual-purpose built-in tray. Does away with paint spills, makes painting a pleasure, and keeps the client's wife happy too.
With its ready-to-use built-in paint tray that requires no cleaning, the Flip and Roll is ready for use again when needed. Cleaner, faster, innovative. Flip and Roll, the right way to paint.
Okay, so this is the innovation we've brought to the market. We call it Flip and Roll. So our paint comes in a square bucket, and it's got a built-in paint tray. So we all know that when we need to paint, you need those paint trays. You put your roller in, and you pour the paint into the tray, and you roll it on the wall. So we've designed the bucket. It's not inside, it's on the outside. We've designed the paint bucket that holds it. It's a 20-liter bucket, and it's got a flip-top lid, and it locks into place like a 20-liter paint tray. So that's why we call it flip and roll. So you flip it open and you roll your paint. Yes, it is a paint bucket with a built-in tray. This product is our patent, our design. It's exclusive to Olympic Paints and Olympic Paints consumers. And we call it a first in the world innovation. I have traveled around the world and looked at many paint companies, and I haven't managed to find anyone that does something similar. So this is what makes it a real proudly South African innovation, because it is in South Africa and nowhere around the world. So what are the advantages of this product is, if you have a large project, we just saw a video on the Ponte Tower. If you want to paint the Ponte Tower, how many times will you have to pour your paint into a tray before you finish your project? Now you just open the bucket and go. So much faster completion of projects. Wastage. We have seen that paint falls into a tray, falls on the floor. It happened to me so many times. Is the tray is behind you, you take a step back and your foot is in the tray. So much of wastage happens. We have noted that 10% of paint is wasted when using a conventional tray. So here you just go straight from the bucket. There's no pouring, there's no spilling, and there's no wasting. And I mean, 10% is significant in a large project. And also post-project cleaning, wash the tray, wash the roller, all of this jazz. We don't need that anymore with this product. Once you're done, even if you're only done with half the paint bucket, you just flip the lid, close again. It's airtight and it's sealed. Put the bucket away. Next time you need to go again, open the bucket, just stir your paint, and you're good to go. So we've introduced this product, and there's been a lot of great recognition and awards for this innovation that we've brought to the market. In 2018, F&B Business Innovation Awards recognized us as one of the finalists in their award function. 10,000 applications went in 2018 to the F&B Business Innovations, and we came in the top 10. So that was quite a nice achievement for Olympic Paints because of the flip and roll. And then Gold Pack Awards, there is, we call them the Institute of Packaging South Africa, and we put flip and roll as a contender into this awards. Honestly, I didn't think much of it. I didn't know what these awards are all about. And the host of this awards function phoned me and says, "You better come to the awards functions." I said, "No, I mean, I don't know." He says, "No, you better come, I'm telling you." And we went there, and unfortunately, no one else got any awards. We clean sweeped the entire function, all awards, because of this one innovation. And so very proud to say that a smaller innovation is bringing us great success, great growth. We still have a long way to go, yes, but this is taking us in a different direction with our business. Apart from all of that, we also, as Olympic Paints, are involved in a lot of good CSR projects. As we know, our country needs all the support it can get from local business. So we every year choose a couple of schools or orphanages that we support. In the last 2 years, we've done a Lowly Primary School, which is near and dear to us because it's down the road from where we operate. So we repainted the entire school. 1,000 students attend the Lowly Primary School. And we were very proud on the day of the handover to see all these bright young kids educating themselves. And we were happy to make a small contribution into making their center of learning a bit more comfortable. The Moses Marin Mission, also here in the south of Johannesburg, educating children, housing them, feeding them. And so we were able to redo the entire center, not just painting, but the ceilings, the floors, the tiling, the geysers, all of that we were able to redo. The YMCA Center near Orlando Stadium, we also got the opportunity to help them to refurbish and repaint the entire center. So that was, and this is all done together with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Our great Nelson Mandela showed us the way. And so in his legacy, we are able to do a little. And we feel proud that we're able to do all of this. Finally, next year will be 40 years of Olympic Paints. We are very proud to be a successful company for 40 years. So it's going to be a big celebration for us next year. We would like to do some good work, like to do, and also like to celebrate success for 40 years. So we invite everyone to celebrate 40 years with Olympic Paints. This is a proudly South African company, and we are proud to be proudly South African. And with this association with Proudly South African, we see a lot of success today and in the future. Thank you everyone for your time, and I hope everyone enjoyed this little presentation.
Well, I can tell you this much, Sejal, I enjoyed it. So I suspect if someone like me can enjoy it, everybody else can enjoy it. And by the way, that payoff line belonged to Cremora. It's not inside, it's on top. I remember. I'm old enough to remember. Sejal, have you ever heard of a guy called Rasta?
Rasta.
Yeah.
I've heard of
He's
the...
an artist.
Yes.
Or at least he is supposed to be an artist. Now, I think, you know, for Olympic paints, there is an opportunity to create a specific paint to help this gentleman to draw more realistic pictures. I mean, he's doing very badly.
Okay.
Think about it. Find him. We need to help you. But thank you very much for your presentation. It was flipping good. You catch that right there. And all the best to Olympic paints. So, guys, we got 10 minutes to take questions and comments. Please, as I said, keep them brief. And to the panelists, keep your responses even briefer, even if ever there was a word like that in English, but that should work for today. So don't give us a preamble, just shoot straight from the hip with your question, and we'll get everybody else to respond. We don't have too much time for questions and answers, but let us know. So I'm going to start. Sibongile's got two questions. One is for Proudly SA. She says, who can our NPC contact to start our accreditation? Do you have different entities? Our organization is a platinum group of metals beneficiation incubator. Gee, that's too much English there. And would like to start our accreditation. Somebody, Janine, will respond to that. And then Omar Sibongile also wants to know, in fact, she says she would be honored to make accessories for your garments. So that's for you, Omar. You may respond directly or offline. And then Francois Devet asks you, Ian, how do you keep Chinese imports at bay with the doors being flung open by the South African government? I think it's a very interesting question there. I don't think I've got, okay. Lehlohonolo asks, do informal businesses in the clothing and textiles get the accreditation support under the membership fee? That's for you again, Janine. And he also wants to know, does the online marketing platform for members also include sustainable brand locally? I'm not sure I understand the question, but Janine, you're smarter than me. You probably will understand that question. So I'm going to start with you, Ian, to respond to the question of Chinese imports.
Unmute. Thank you. As far as Chinese imports are concerned, they remain a massive issue in South Africa, and I don't think it's just our product that is under threat. The way we deal with it at the end of the day is, number one, we stick to the quality. We don't even try and compete from a quality point, price point of view, I should say. But the biggest thing that we've done is we've lobbied government around additional duties, dumping duties. Just very simply, if you take that kg of steel is 12 Rand a kilogram from Mittel. Therefore, if a wheelbarrow is 10 kgs, your base price on a wheelbarrow is 120 Rand before, but that's just the steel price without taking the conversion rate into it. So when you see product being imported into the country and being declared at 65 Rand and 55 Rand, and there we just bring that to the attention of DTI ITAC and SARS, as SARS is the main governing body around import duties and that. And it's a constant fight. But again, sticking to our principles, what we find is that, as they say, goedkoop is deurkoop. Sorry, my Afrikaans is not so good. But we again, I get back to the marketing element. We stick by our brand, we stick by our quality, and if there's a market for the cheaper product, well, we're not in that poorer quality product. And then we get, like I say, focus very much working hand in hand with the government departments to ensure that we protect our market as much as possible.
Thank you very much, Ian. It is deurkoop. Deer is a door. Okay, Ian, remember that. I'm going to have to send you consulting fees there. Deer, ni. Janine, and before Janine, you respond, may I ask all the panelists to switch their screens on so that when I go to you, you're already on screen. Janine, please respond to the questions that have been asked of Proudly SA.
No problem. If you would like to join the companies that have presented today and becoming a member of Proudly South African, please do email us. Our email address is info@proudlysa.co.za. You can also call us on 011 327 7778. And perhaps we'll put that in the chat for you. And then just to answer the question in terms of accreditation support, because we are generalists as Proudly South African, we do rely on external bodies to assist us with the accreditation, not necessarily our compliance processes, but we rely on external bodies to vet for quality, because we're not the experts in the field. So for the informal sector in terms of clothing and textile, most certainly we do have an opportunity for you to join. So please contact us on info@proudlysa.co.za. Oma went through the same process when she joined, so we'll be very happy to take you through. I'm just checking, does the online marketing platform for members include also sustainable brand locally? If you're asking if we can assist you with your branding needs, the short answer is that's not our field, but we can most certainly introduce you to other member companies who can assist you with your branding needs. So we do inter-member referrals. But that platform RSA Made is open for member companies. Join us, then you're entitled to list your products on that platform. But the PPE portals, if you'd like to be a part of those portals, also send an email to info and we'll assist you further. But those platforms are in line with the medical space, so you might need a SAPRA license, or if you're making a face class and you'd like to be a part of the PPE portals, all that we ask is that you manufacture locally and in line with the DTIC guidelines that have been published. But contact us for more information. info@proudlysa.co.za. Thanks, Rams.
Thank you, Janine. I must tell you that logo behind you makes you look like you have a halo behind you. You look so heavenly. But yeah,
Thank you.
it's amazing. Also, Oma, do you want to respond to somebody who wants to supply you for accessories?
Yeah, I'm all up for collaborations. You know, it's after this, I'm preparing for a shoot. So we're shooting second looks for summer collection 2020. And I've been stopping myself not to design a lot because I'm like, why am I creative? People don't have anywhere to go. So I'm really up for collaborations and stuff like that, because we could wear some of the jewelry with some of the things that we're designing in our studio. If they are in Gauteng, I mean, they could just make their way to our studios, but they can just send us a WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp will be easier. 082-669-7469. 082, I also write it here, 082-669-7469, or info@plus-fab.com. Maybe they could be part of our shoot today.
Excellent. Although I don't really believe you, because I offered a partnership to make clothes for parliamentarians and you did not say I could join you, but it's fine.
But I do stuff for parliamentarians already. I do for them. I've got lots of clients in parliament.
Yeah, but
very popular.
Have you seen the pictures of the male parliamentarians? They need these clothes. But anyway,
the male we can't help.
I feel locked out, but it's fine. It's fine. I accept it. I'm not going to push
Brett, I need to talk to you about my mom's stuff.
Okay. I don't seem to have any more questions. So I have to say, we have come to the end of our webinar. You have to please pardon us for the technical hitches, but generally I believe it all went well. If you disagree, fortunately, I can't see you. May I implore all of you to really follow Proudly SA, to subscribe to Proudly SA, to be part of what they do. The business of Proudly SA, I said, is not political. It's not even about pride necessarily. It's actually about the economy. It is so important for this economy to survive. So the more we do proudly South African product and we buy South African product, the better it is for all of us. Well, it's been a great opportunity to host this amazing panel of guests, and I thank all of you so profoundly for the work that you've done. I also implore you to subscribe to a digital platform that also focuses on small business. And you will see some of the small businesses doing amazing stuff, but they're also looking for opportunities to partner. It's called Talk with Rams on Facebook and YouTube, Monday to Thursday, every 7:30 p.m. You won't go wrong. We need to save jobs and create more jobs. As I step aside, let me welcome my friend, my sister, and dare I add, partner in crime, Hepingi, the Chief Officer, Marketing and Communications, proudly South African, who's going to give us a vote of thanks. From me, Rams Mabote, it has been great hosting you. Have a great day further, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Rams. I agree with one thing, a friend. It's the other part of your comment that I'm not too sure about, partner in crime. I still have to think about that before I admit to anything. But thank you so much, my friend, but largely a friend of the campaign. So Rams, before I'm not going to let you go, scot-free on this one. So somebody on the platform wants to give you a makeover. I'm not too sure what what that means. For me, you look debonair, and I'm hoping that suit was made locally. But there was a comment where somebody says they would like to dress you up on all of these platforms, but there is a catch. They'll dress you up a little bit, but then you need to open an account with them and start purchasing from them. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just, yeah, okay.
So let me respond quickly, and then I'll give you a chance to conclude this session. I'm flattered by that offer, but I'm one of the 3 million people who lost their job during COVID. So I'm not sure I'll be purchasing anything anytime soon. But yeah, I'll take him up offline.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Rams. So, like I said, friend of the campaign, thank you so much for always showing up when we need you the most. When life was normal, we traveled all over the country with you to address small businesses around South Africa. But when COVID happened, you didn't go under a rock. You showed up when we asked you to please show up online. And for that, we are truly grateful. Thank you so much. Brent at Defy, South Africa. Did I pronounce that well? Am I the clever black? Unlike my friend, am I the clever black? Defy. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. So Brent Johnson is the group marketing manager for South Africa, Defy Appliances. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. And thank you for sharing Defy's incredible story on this platform. We do look forward to doing much more with your brand. I know there's a few things that are lined up that we are planning on doing together with you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your contribution today, and welcome on board. And then I move on to Ian Kendall. Ian Kendall is Managing Director at Lasher Tools. Great to see you today, Ian, even though it's online, not in person. But we thank you, we truly thank you for your contribution. You and the team remain our strength in the industry. You also show up when we need you the most, and we really truly appreciate you. Lasher Tools, a brand that has stood the test of time without fail. I also have my parents' home also has all of those things, the wheelbarrow, all of those things that make me think back of my childhood. So yes, you are truly proudly South African. What a proudly South African story for you to have shared with us. Thank you, and we hope to see you soon. Oma Dema of Plus-Fab. Oma, can I see you on screen, please? If you're still there. She did say she has a shoot to take care of. Places to go, people to see. But Oma is a member of the campaign, like she said in her talk, and a friend of the campaign, really. And we have worked with together in the past, even before this time. And I keep saying to Oma that as a woman and as a person in this corporate space, I really, really respect your hustle. Oma is a true trailblazer. In fact, I'll have you know that she was very modest when she presented to you during this horrific COVID time. There was a time where her business was threatened by COVID, where there was a possibility that she may have had to lay off some of her employees, and we wouldn't let that happen. We tried to do the best we could to try and assist Oma one way or another. I feel that you are going for everything, Oma, and like I say, we respect your hustle. Keep keeping on, my sister. Thank you so much for your contribution today. It's truly appreciated. And then going through to Sejal from Olympic Paints. Great to see you online today. Thank you so much for your contribution. We hope to make it on that list for your 40-year celebration. I will hold you to that. Can we sit on the main table and celebrate your 40 years, of great business? Thank you for your contribution. And by the way, your billboard campaign on the freeways is lit. We love it. Very creative. We see your good work. And we are pleased that you said, in your words, you said that your association as a brand with Proudly South African has really given you much needed value. We appreciate that kind of feedback, and we hope that you stay on for as long as possible. By the way, Rams, I will make a contribution. I'll try and link up Sejal with Rasta, and then we will see what happens. You need to meet Rasta and help the brother, because he needs proper paid to do a proper job. Last but not least, Janine is my ivory. I am her ebony. We are a team. Bonnie and Clyde, Janine. Thank you so much, my friend, for representing Proudly South Africa. Your debut was okay. Your debut was fine. Thank you so much for representing us so well, my ivory. Thank you for stepping in. And last but not least, thank you so much to all the attendees. We may not have been able to answer all of your questions, but you're very welcome to please send us any questions on info@proudlysa.co.za. We'll try to do the best we can to provide you with the presentations, especially Brent's videos. Most people on the chat were asking for that, Brent, because the visuals were amazing. It's just the sound that let us down. So we may, reach out to you for those. Thank you so much for everybody that came onto the platform, and look out for all other webinars coming up that we are, as Proudly South African, are facilitating along the same lines. We will find us on Facebook, where we are live now. You will find us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Like I always say to my colleagues, we may not know where we're going, given the economy, but follow us anyway. We'll get there together. Thank you very much, and that's all for me, everybody. Thank you. Bye.